Welcome everyone. In this video we are gonna do the opal layer for a Milky Way or marble, however you want to call it, tumbler. Actually making this one as a gift for someone, and the end result, I actually use a lot of pigments on this one, and I don't really do the traditional Milky Way where you kind of streak the white color. So that's why I say Milky Way or marble, kind of a similar technique for both. So we're just putting a thin base layer of epoxy on the tumbler, and that's mostly just to act as an adhesive for the glitter, so we're not really worried about bubbles or anything at this stage. And then we're going to apply our glitter. Pardon my dirty turner. So it doesn't really matter how you put the glitter on. I like to put it on kind of in a diagonal line, because then when I go in, I add my pigments later, I can kind of follow that line. But ultimately, I use a lot of pigment, so it doesn't so much matter the pattern on the bottom. I use some cardstock or paper or something, and in between glitters I empty that excess back into the container. Obviously this is sped up quite a bit, so, and how you do it doesn't really matter. I sometimes, if I'm using a mixture of different chunkies or like fine and chunky, I might kind of vary the texture a little bit. So I can't remember the names of all of these. The one I'm doing right now is called Wishes, and that's from Lily's Glitter Shop. But when I do these, I usually just kind of grab from all the random opal glitters I have and what I think will look good. So the base layer is mostly opal with a little bit of some of this Wishes color. What I'm doing here is just throwing it on the bottom. I know that's maybe not the best technique, but it works for me. And this particular person likes purple and teal. And so that's why I incorporated that Wishes color, because it's like a really beautiful iridescent pale blue. You could also just let all the glitter fall and make a really pretty custom dump cup mix. But these are pretty high quality glitters, so I'd rather preserve them as much as I can. I do have some really cool dump cup mixes. Sometimes I make jewelry out of them, or I use them as their own color combination, but I personally like to preserve as much of the original color as I can. Keeps me from having to buy more as often. As you can see, like, still pretty sloppy with it sometimes because I'm kind of clumsy. So you just do the best you can and try not to stress about it. But even the base layer of these cups is so beautiful that sometimes you don't want to cover them up. But what's so fun about this particular technique is it's almost like a marble 3D look. Once you get those pigments on there and you see these beautiful chunky glitters peeking in between the color, it adds a lot of depth to your cup. So this will be part one. And then part two will be another layer of epoxy, of course, and then we'll layer our pigments over that. I sped it up for time's sake because these are kind of time consuming. And obviously you shouldn't really touch the cup with your finger. I did, because those glitters are pretty chunky and I just want them to lay down. But if you do get epoxy on your hands, it can cause allergic reactions, of course. So, sorry, my phone keeps going off. So if you do, use some alcohol or some acetone to get it off your skin. Before washing with soap and water, try to get it off there as soon as you can. Things happen. I mean, crafting is messy, right? All right, this will complete phase one. All right, so we have our glitter base, and we have a thin layer of epoxy over the base. And now we're adding our pigments. No particular pattern, just following that diagonal line. I believe that first one is Galaxy Purple or Purple Galaxy. And I think this one is Aquamarine. I am trying to put some of the bluish, tealish colors next to that teal glitter. I think that that is Fantasy Fuchsia. I'm not sure. I've primarily used resin art pigments in this. There are some Woodies Goodies micas in the mix. When I tell you, these are so much more beautiful in person. That is Delphinium, I believe, by Colourarte, Resin Art. For those of you who are not super familiar with Colourarte, they have pigments for painting, but they also have pigments for resin, and they're all magnificent. I use them all the time. I believe that one is Celestial Sky. I may have sped this up a little bit too much for the sake of time, but you might benefit from seeing it slowed down a little bit more. The one that's sort of making that purple look murky is either a pearl or an Abalone Shell color that put right next to the purple kind of diluted it a little bit, which was not intended, but it still kind of works. That is Indian Ocean. And Surf's Up. And you can tell I'm trying to fill it in a little bit more at this point. Smaller streaks. I think that's Barney by Woodies Goodies. There's another one from Woodies Goodies. I can't remember the name of it that I used. So I think right now I'm streaking in some of the ones I've used before. I absolutely love the way these turn out, where you can see the glitter peeking through the pigments. It's so three-dimensional looking. I think that they're probably some of my favorite cups to do. Also might work for someone who has a hard time deciding what they want, you know. Also, I do so many cup orders that sometimes when you do gifts, you get to experiment and try out things that you don't really get requests for, because usually when people do cup orders, they already have something in mind. They've seen a picture or something, and so you may not get that opportunity to try something that you have like this idea in your head for, you know. So we're just filling in some of the space. Now this is what I mean when I say I kind of overdid it with the pigments. I practically covered the whole cup. So we're just popping the bubbles and also hitting it with enough heat to let it move just a little. It ends up moving a little bit more than I intended, but the finished result is still so beautiful. If you're not already subscribed, we would love it if you would hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. And if you have any suggestions for future cup videos, let me know. This, we will post a video where it's turning upright so you can see it a little bit better. And certainly follow our social media links below if you're not already, so you can see our finished products. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. Take care. So this is kind of a slow-mo of it turning. You can see the depth of the glitter kind of shining through the pigments. Just beautiful. Thank you again for watching. Let us know what you think.